Next, let's look at Office 365 audit events. So Essentials enables you to interpret the Office 365 audit log in order to see the actions users are carrying out, or indeed to see the actions that are being carried out on an object such as a document, for example. In order for this to work, firstly, auditing needs to be switched on in Office 365. So if I go into my demonstration tenant, I can show you how to switch on auditing. So it sits within the administration console. So if you click up to the grid here and go down to administration, then on the left down here, if we go to admin centers and go to security and compliance, on the right here, there'll be a prompt to switch on searching for activity. So you see here, I've already switched this function on, but if it wasn't switched on already, there'll be a prompt there to switch on searching for activity. So once that's activated, then you can search the audit log in Essentials. It's worth noting that you'll only be able to search the audit log from the point it was switched on. So in order to do this for a specific user, we go into the Administrator tab and load the user in a view. So for example, the one I have open now is Office 365 users. Then right click on the user and select Audit User. So from there you get a date range. So this is the period it's going to collect the audit data from. So I can go back maybe 3 months. So from February to May this year and click on OK. And that will then start to glean that information from the audit log for that specific user. So I'm running this report now for one user, but I can also select multiple users and it will produce a report showing all of their actions as well. So we'll leave that to collect the data. So that audit is now complete. It's showing 5,000 events. And if I expand this out, you can see each of the events. Now, there are a few things you can do within this view. For example, you can click the column headings to sort under these different headings such as date, operation, and record type. But what's more useful is to export this report to a CSV. I'm going to call this admin audit, and then work with it from in there. So if I now go and open the CSV and just do some quick analytics on it. So I'm just going to expand these columns out so they're easier to see. And I'm also going to format this as a table. So my table has headers. So now I can sort and filter based on these column headings. So the most interesting column heading is the audit operation. So I click on the drop down there. I can choose to view each time this user deleted a file. So I show that. It will show all the files the user has deleted and the date and time they deleted it, and also the IP address they used to connect to SharePoint when they carried out that deletion. You can also go and view things like when they logged in. So down at the bottom we should see a user logged in. So each time they logged in and the IP address they used to log in. And also things like file accessed is also on here. So file accessed everything they've perhaps looked at. So if you wanted to understand the user's behavior or what they've been looking at or what they've been deleting or indeed what they've been copying, you can quickly glean that information from this report. A similar report you can do within Essentials for Office 365 is also to audit an object. So for example, if I expand out my demonstration tenant, go into Meta 1, subsites, departments, subsites finance, and go into perhaps confidential documents. I can right click on a document and choose to audit that object. Now, as before, we can specify a date range for the audit. So again, I'm going to put in 3 months. So it will just bring back results for the last 3 months. And then when I set this running, it will show all the actions that were carried out on this document and which users carried out those actions. So we expand this out, we can see that there are many actions here. They're mostly carried out by the administrator, but if we look at the type of operation, we've got accessed, modified, uploaded, and so on. So we get a very good indication of the history of this particular object. And as before, you can export that to a CSV and then use Excel to do some further analytics on that object. So that's auditing in Essentials for Office 365, both auditing users and also auditing objects.